Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of the Triple Threat Podcast here on the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can find me over on Twitter at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as always, we're joined by the Alaskan Wizard King. That's what we call him. The Card King, I should start calling him. Gandalf Wiz, the Gray of Cards. Wiz Nicholas Holt. You can follow him over on Twitter at DynastyWizFF. Wiz, I know, let's just say this. We're excited about the Roman Wilson performance. We got to put Mike through a little bit of pain here pre-show, just a little bit. He's already shaking his head. I love it. I already got him off kilter, Wiz. I know we're excited about that. And you said you're going to be adding some Roman Wilson cards to your collection, are you not?
Oh, well, already got two.
It's too many, but that's fine.
I'm probably about to purchase another one. Some RPAs, once the market shoots up with Roman Wilson. Sorry, we kept talking about Roman Dunze and Roman Wilson before the show started, so it mixed me up a little bit. But no, once the market goes up, then I'll be selling off the collection of Roman Wilson. So,
Wiz, I just say this. I know that you got good taste in receivers, and I'm proud of you too for investing in a Steelers player as well in cards. You've come a long way. I think I'm really starting to grow on you up there.
And you're growing on the Steelers too after all this time of Steelers are horrible fantasy assets.
Yeah.
You're charging hard for Roman Wilson, so
he's the only one. Well, Jonnu Smith, you know how I feel about him, but
no DK.
Yep.
No, him and Jonnu, I can't not. I mean, look, I know it's still the Steelers, but they're still my boys, and I can't always knock them. And hey, Jonnu could perform. He's done it before. We've seen him with Arthur Smith. He survived it. And we still love Jonnu Smith. But we're also joined by the man who attended the Philadelphia Eagles preseason game yesterday. Put him in an unhappy mood just because of the score and the sun. We talked a little bit about that pre-show. It's our friend, Dynasty Dog Mike. He's the host of the Dynasty Dog podcast. Michael Anthony. You can follow him over on Twitter at Dynasty Dog Mike. Mike, what was going on there in that Eagles game? Were they just not clicking on all cylinders? Did they not really play any of their starters, maybe?
Well, you almost had to put me in a medical tent, that blue medical tent, because it was hot as shit. I was staring at the bench, the Eagles bench, and it had those like misting things. I was like, I need to get down there and sit on one of those because it's hot as hell. But the Eagles didn't start their starters at all. DTR started the game. AJ Dillon was out there doing God knows what. Jahad Campbell on defense was the only real guy that I think is. Oh, and the corners. The corners are the two guys that are vying for starting spots. So I think you saw some of the starters on defense or potential starters, but the offense itself, there was nothing really.
We would see Mike get charged for going out on the field just like one of them streakers running for one of them misters.
Yeah,
I love those misters, though, man. Them are awesome. We need to try to invest in one of those. I would like to have one for when I'm laying carpet. I think that would be awesome. Like if you're doing a porch outdoors or something, just like spray with that thing. Now, that would be a really good idea. But today we got a great show lined up for you guys. We're going to talk some rookie range of outcomes. And it's going to be mainly a quarterback and running back driven show today. We're going to talk about these rookie quarterbacks, these rookie running backs, and we're going to see what you guys think of them one last time before heading into the season, right? Preseason's getting closer to being over. We've seen some of these guys perform. We don't ever like to put too much stock into preseason. That's one mistake you don't ever want to make. But look, does it change your opinions a little bit when we hear stuff out of training camp? So we're really starting to see these guys get in the full swing of getting ready for some NFL action. So it is important to talk about it. And I'm anxious to see exactly what you guys think of these guys. And we'll hop in and start talking about the quarterbacks right away. And, Wiz, I'm going to start with you on this one. And, this one comes from the team that has maybe 3 too many quarterbacks. It's in Mike's division. It's the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, Jackson Dart. Look, I mean, we talk about this all the time with rookie quarterbacks going in Superflex drafts. It just becomes at a certain point, it's a good value, right? A lot of people were getting him down there at the end of the first round, getting them high end in the second round. Look, I'm not saying Jackson Dart's going to be great, but we're talking Dynasty Superflex, and you have an opportunity to take a guy that's going to be a starting quarterback in this league, at least for maybe a year or two, see what happens. It could be a good dart throw to make, maybe especially as a contender. But what's your feelings on Jackson Dart right now after the preseason and through training camp? And what was your feelings before that? Have they changed any? Where are you at on him right now as a dynasty asset? Wiz, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, I think is a real interesting prospect, right? He definitely shows flashes in his game of true potential that he could be around the league for a while, and he also does some boneheaded stuff every now and again, right? Which is expected to be with a rookie. I think it's just gonna be really just a redshirt year for Jackson Dart, right? I mean, they have Russell Wilson there, they have Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito's probably still on that roster somewhere. And just overall, I mean, I think they're gonna take it slow. There's no need to rush him out there, right? He's still kind of a raw prospect. I think he's like what 20, 21, something like that. I know he's a young guy.
22, I think, yeah.
22. Okay, so he's a little bit older than I thought, but
I'll double check that. He was a senior coming out, so.
Oh, was he? I thought he was a junior or something. But all right, yeah. I mean, regardless, right? I mean, he's still a young guy. He still needs to learn the ropes a little bit through it. And I think it's going to help him out. I mean, he played really well against the Jets. Last night here, 14 for 16, 137 passing yards and touchdown. And just overall, I mean, just he definitely shows the flashes that he could be a guy that leads the Giants for the next couple or next decade, maybe even. He's exciting, especially where you got him in the Superflex. He's a guy that in rebuilding, I wouldn't mind if I had like a Geno Smith, traded him for a 1-for-1 type of thing. Maybe you get that done, maybe not. But just like those older guys, like maybe Matthew Stafford, and if you have like a third or something, I don't know, like get creative with it. There's a lot of things you could do to tier up to get one of these young guys. Just put them in your taxi for the whole entire year.
Okay, interesting, Mike. I'm going to hop into you with Jackson Dart, and honestly, I mean, this is in your division. You know this division really well. And what do you think about this plan for the Giants? Could you agree with Wiz maybe seeing it being a red shirt, or do you think maybe Brian Daboll, Joe Sheen, that whole regime might be desperate enough to play him right away? I mean, we know people want to save their jobs. Maybe that's an issue. And what do you like and maybe not like about Jackson Dart, and have your opinions changed any?
No, I've liked Jackson Dart since the tape evaluation process. He's looked really good, or at least really solid, these past two preseason games. The first preseason game had a nice throw down the sideline for a touchdown, and I watched some of the game yesterday, and he just operated Daboll's offense, very consistent, got the ball out quick, kind of like the way he did at Ole Miss too, which is not a bad thing. It makes it comfortable for him. That's kind of what you want for a rookie quarterback, right? For me, he's also, yes, besides the fact that Daboll and that staff is coaching for their jobs and GMing for their jobs and everything like that. New York media, when they're bad, they're going to be calling for Jackson Dart immediately, right? I mean, Russell Wilson looked all right yesterday. He had like that 75-yard moon ball he threw yesterday. We all know he has that in his game. But, man, if the Giants are bad, which they probably will be, they're going to be calling for Dart early. I think by week 6, week 7, we could see a Jackson Dart switch. Because that way, Daboll could say, hey, look, I put the rookie out there. We ended the season on a high note. Or if he looks good, he could probably keep his job for another year. I don't see that being a bad idea if he wants to keep his job.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's just like you said, your hands forced. And we hear about the media in New York all the time. I mean, we talk even about baseball, football, whatever. They're getting on these guys, and they want results right away. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, let me ask you guys this. I mean, I talked about this at the opening with Jackson Dart. You get him late first round, early second round, a lot of rookie drafts. I mean, I think it's a good value. I mean, I picked him up in a few places, especially having a good team with a couple aging quarterbacks, right? Just try to add someone in there, hope you hit. I mean, you never know. I mean, look, he wasn't my favorite prospect I ever watched, but he does have some mobility. He's a tough kid. I mean, he has a decent arm on him, and it will be interesting to see. And, honestly, Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss system, I mean, Lane Kiffin was an NFL coach. I mean, you go back, too. His dad was an NFL coach. You go way back. I mean, Monte Kiffin with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe. He was the defensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl with John Gruden. So, I mean, lots of connections to the NFL. So, I mean, at least he had a NFL stylish type coach grooming him as well. But let me ask you this, Wiz. Jackson Dart, kind of see where you're at right now. Who would you prefer? Would you prefer having right now Bryce Young or Jackson Dart long term?
That's tough. All right. I mean, it's a good way to re-roll it. But I think as of right now, I feel like you have to go with Bryce Young. I mean, it's like I'm not happy about it. Like that's definitely not a trade I'm looking out to go out and make, but I just feel like it's the right choice, right? We saw what Bryce Young did at the end of the season there. Once he got his confidence up, it looks like he's grown in that offense, which is what we want to see. And Jackson Dart's still an unknown, right? This is preseason. Hasn't really proven much, and he still has to earn that starting job over a competent starter of Russell Wilson, right? He also has Jameis Winston back there. These are guys that show flashes. They're not the franchise's long-term guy. So that's the biggest thing that helps Jackson Dart out. But it's still a lot of obstacles he needs to climb, where Bryce Young is the default one right now in Carolina. So
okay, interesting. Wiz is going Bryce Young. How do you feel about that, Mike? If you had to choose between the two, let's say you're in a dynasty startup or something, right? Who would you rather gamble on in that quarterback 2-3-ish type position right now?
The only thing, I mean, I agree with what Wiz said. It is Bryce Young. I do kind of disagree with what he said about, Bryce is the clear guy. We've seen Carolina be very heavy-handed with Bryce last year. I mean, he was pulled for Dalton after he had a rough start, obviously, in year 2. So it could happen again. I don't foresee it because Bryce looks different in these preseason games and going into the end of last year. Looks like he's got his confidence back. It looks like they believe in him a bit more as well. So I agree with you, though. I do think that this Carolina offense, and especially the wide receivers, have started to look a little bit better than what I expected. So I'm in on Bryce as well.
Okay, interesting. I mean, look, I think you can make a case either way. Like if you wanted to gamble, I don't blame anybody for gambling just from the simple fact. Now, I agree with you. I like Dave Canales, and I've said that a long time, going back to when he first acquired his job with the Carolina Panthers. You look, he's fixed a lot of quarterbacks, right? I mean, he helped Geno, he's helped Baker, he's helped a lot of people develop and grow their game, and we kind of see Bryce going in that same direction, right? He's kind of, like you said, looks a little bit different, has a pep in his step, has more confidence. Seems like he's able to get back to doing a little bit of the things we've seen in college a little bit. And I think that's going to benefit him. But look, if you wanted to gamble on Jackson Dart, I couldn't blame you because here's why. Like, I like Bryce Young. I think that he's going to be just fine. He could be a solid guy. You could have rostered for a while as that game manager-ish quarterback 2, maybe quarterback 3 guy. But there just isn't much of a ceiling there to me. I mean, do you guys see something I'm not seeing? Like, do you see a bigger ceiling with Bryce Young? Because, like, look, he finished quarterback 20 last year, and compared where he was his rookie year is phenomenal. I'm not going to knock him for that, but, like, do we see him really getting any higher than 16? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't really see it. I mean, sure, people could get hurt, but that's a lot to ask. How do you feel about that, Mike? Do you think he could get higher than 16, Bryce Young?
I think 16 is probably about appropriate. He does have like some magician to him. He does have some escapability, some rushing upside that I don't think is, used a whole lot, to be honest with you. I think it could be used a little bit more. It could push him up slightly. I mean, for God's sakes, we saw Baker Mayfield had over 400 yards rushing last year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Bryce could get to that with his athletic ability. So I think quarterback 16 on a normal year-to-year basis is probably about right.
Okay, Wiz, do you?
Which is good. Safe floor, too.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I said, and that's why I couldn't blame somebody if they wanted to, have that floor to stand on, right? But Wiz, let me ask you, do you feel any different than how me and Mike do? Like we see 16 kind of being the ceiling for Bryce Young. Where are you at on that as far as Bryce Young goes?
Yeah, so Bryce Young, right? He started the year out QB1 week 1, QB 33 week 2, and then he got benched. And then he came in, it was QB 29. OTAC probably, I forget what happened there in week 5 against Chicago. But and then he didn't play those last 2 weeks. And then he came back with Denver, right? QB 19, QB 26, QB 17. And then he had the bye week. This is where he really stepped up his game, right? Against Kansas City, QB 14, QB 8, QB 20, QB 18, QB 2, QB 19, and then quarterback 1 overall, and week 18 against the Falcons. So, right, I mean, with that, right, I mean, you like to see the progression, right? After the bye week, something clicked for him, right? And that's where he was a lot steadier of a guy. That was a guy you could depend on every week. He helped win a league for me when I bought him for a second round in the middle of the season because everyone was like panicking when he got benched. I was like, I'll throw a second at it, whatever. I need a quarterback. And it worked out for me, right? And it's just like do I feel great about having him on my roster line as a QB2 in this league that I won the league last year? And no, but I have him and Aaron Rodgers, and hopefully one of them can put it together. Yeah, it's. But I could win it again, dude. My wide receiver room is stacked. All right, that's what carried me this past year. But it's just one of those things that, like QB69, I think it's a realistic expectation. I would not be surprised if he gets scores a bit higher than that, right? I mean, we've seen guys that don't have to do it on athleticism, right? It's very hard for them, but it's possible. And like Mike said, he has a lot of escapability to his game. He's a magician in the backfield when he needs to be at times. Other times he doesn't see pass rushes coming and he gets sacked. So I don't know. He's just a very ish guy, but I think in the 50-50 range is a good spot for him at QB16.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, that's why I wouldn't mind anyone gambling on Dart, because look, I like that, but really, are you losing out on a whole lot, right? I mean, sure, you want to shore that up, but again, you just kind of admitted it yourself, Wiz, you don't always feel comfortable with him as your quarterback 2. If he's my quarterback 3, I'm not risking it, right? If I have 2 good guys there and I have Bryce Young, I feel good. I'm happy with that. But I mean, I can make a play for saying, hey, I want to get some more high-end upside at quarterback 2. I don't hate that if someone wants to make that move. Couple comments. We have Dustin Mall saying my dog's favorite podcaster, Mike. Dustin, honestly, if you become a Quinshawn Junkins and Roman Wilson fan, you could become Darth Maul and join me, Darth Sidious, against Mike. That would be amazing. Just think about that connection we'd have going on there. And we have Tashara saying Bryce Young the moon. I'm here for the boarding of the Roman Wilson hype train. Everyone's all over Mike here this afternoon. I love it.
I have no comment at this time. I plead the fifth, especially when
and real quick, while we're over here in New York land, right? I know he's not a rookie, but Justin Fields, I
didn't watch enough of his throws, so I can't really.
Yeah, like I didn't see him. Like I saw, he passed 5 times, 1 for 5, not good to see in a preseason game, right? But even like mini camp, right? Like I don't know. He's just struggling there. Is this the time? I mean, I think it was probably the time before the season once he signed that contract, the Jets, to get out. But are you guys have any shares lingering around Justin Fields? Or are you guys?
I actually have none, and it's not because I don't want any, especially on contending rosters. But I think right now, I think the hype is still there. So I think even buying him right now would be a bad option. 1 for 5 in a preseason game. Not super concerned about that because you really can't even get into a rhythm or anything like that at that kind of range. Am I a little worried? I don't know. Would you rather have Fields or Penix?
Penix easily.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of
surprised.
surprised.
Penix.
Okay. I mean, I agree, but I didn't expect either one of you to agree with me. I was okay.
Like I think where it gets close is I probably put just Fields in that Jackson Dart, Bryce Young range, to be honest with you. And it's just a mindset of, do you want the new shiny toy of Jackson Dart? Do you want the flashy toy that could score a lot of points, but you have to go search for a quarterback next year? Or do you want the steady Eddie guy of Bryce Young, or a possible steady Eddie? I would say steady Eddie.
Not yet.
Wiz is already promoting from the inside there with his guys. I see what he's up to. But now I'm proud of you for admitting some things about Justin Fields, Wiz. And you said you have any shares? Not really, but I agree.
I don't think I have a single one.
I don't really either. But I agree with Mike. Look, if you could have got him cheap, I said it all off season. I couldn't argue with it, but I just was never a big believer, right? I mean, sometimes when you want to take a shot, you could get a guy for a second. I don't ever discredit anybody for that because you're not giving up anything too significant, right? And you want to take a chance on a guy with high-end upside. I don't hate that. This
was my last share of Justin Fields I had. I traded for Chuba Hubbard straight up, and I needed running back depth.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but I mean, if you had a chance to win, I mean, I couldn't hate you for it, but you better go out and get Rico for a pair of socks.
I think I already have Rico on the team, so. My team's pretty stacked. I think it's like Herbert and Caleb Williams, and then I have a third one somewhere else.
Yeah, in that kind of instance, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's hop into the next quarterback we want to touch on, Mike. We've been hitting you with a lot of Roman Wilson stuff. We've been hitting you with some more Darth Sidious type stuff to start the show. I want to do something to make you happy because I figured I'd let you talk about Cameron Ward with the Tennessee Titans. And this is a player that you were higher on to start the season, I know, than maybe some others were. I mean, we all liked him, said he was the best quarterback in this class with the ceiling and everything like that. Tennessee's always a bit of a worry, but let me ask you, because I know you're a big believer and a big fan in this player. Are you inclined to like him more after what you've seen and what you've heard, or are you about the same? Where are you at as far as Cam Ward goes?
I didn't think I could get any higher on him, but it just keeps fucking pumping blood into my veins every 5 seconds. I see something on him. Did you please tell me you guys have seen that throw to Van Jefferson against the Falcons? Oh my God. You could not have thrown that ball any better. And Van Jefferson had the absolute gall to say it was 2 out in front of him. What? Bro, it hit you in the hands. Like, come on. Everything you see here about him is super positive. I think this year could be a decent year. Obviously, it's not going to be what we really want right away from fantasy, but that defense is still not going to be that good. So he could have some decent passing numbers just based on the fact that they're going to have to try to keep up. I imagine they're going to try to get him another wide receiver in the draft next year. And him and Calvin Ridley's connection has been off the charts so far. From everything you're hearing, from everything we've seen in the first week, I am super high on Cam Ward. Yeah. If you could still get him for what you can, I'm all in on it. I actually made a trade for Cam Ward in one of our leagues.
Did you?
Yeah. It was a few weeks ago. It was Cam Ward. I got Cam Ward and Emeka Egbuka for Bryce Young and Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, if you wanted to go all in, and I know you believe us in this player, and, I'm not a big Travis Hunter guy, so, I mean, hey, I know you like this player, Mike, and that's what I like, because you stick with your guys and you even give them a little bit more of a bump. And, yeah, it is exciting. And now let me just say this. I mean, I'm on the decline to think of, I think he's going to be just fine there. I mean, I think he's going to be at least as solid a quarterback, too, with that rushing upside, with the big arm. But he has a chance to, we talked about Bryce Young where the ceiling's limited. Like Cam Ward, the ceiling could be up here. There's that possibility, and that is the difference. So I don't mind whatsoever you really wanting to get involved and get in on him. And it seems like he's just a guy that's very coachable. But my thing is with the Tennessee Titans, and I've said it's the offensive line, but the one good thing his kid's got going for him is this division's a turd. That'll help. And, he does, Callahan, offensive mind. We'll see. The weapons still ain't quite maybe where we want them to be, but let me just say this, and I'm going to just give a little bit of a devil's advocate here to Mike. Mike's expecting big things. I think we're all hoping for big things, but if it goes badly, if it doesn't really, if he ends up quarterback, let's say 22 or 23, let's just say it's not good. He's having a rough year. He's getting sacked a lot and people want to trade him away. I'm all for buying. Because I just know the situation's a big part of this problem if it goes that way. So talk about Big Ball, but culture references. We know how he feels about the Tennessee Titans, Wiz.
We're going to have a question for you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
And this is for Wiz too. I've kind of seen this posted a couple times. Is he probably the least talked about first overall pick in a while?
You can make that debate.
I don't know. I feel like Bryce Young wasn't really too talked about either.
I thought Bryce got a lot of hype. That class itself got a lot of hype with him. And
with Richardson, yeah.
And I think the Alabama thing kind of helped him a little bit. But you're right, Wiz.
Also the trade as well, I guess, helps him too. But Titans just fell right into him, right? And Shedeur Sanders, I think, was the one that stole the spotlight away just because how far he fell. I think if Shedeur went back to first, I think Cam Ward would have got more talk about, but everyone's like, whoa, look at Shedeur Sanders. He fell all the way to the 5th round. What happened?
And I think a lot of that had to do too with the Dynasty community. Everyone was Ashton Jenney crazy, right? He was the 1-1. We see this with these 1-1 type of picks. Cam Ward wasn't that guy. So he kind of was an afterthought a little bit, but you're right, Mike. He didn't get a lot of love or respect, but again, like I said, if it goes badly, I'm buying, taking advantage of it. Wiz, how do you feel about Cam Ward through these first couple weeks of preseason, through the training camps, the mini camps, everything we're hearing, everything we're seeing? Are you any higher on Cam Ward now than you were coming into this, or where are you at as far as he goes?
I got a lot of shares of Cam Ward, especially on my rebuilding teams, because I would take him right after Genty, right at 1-2. And I feel like that's where he should have been going, right? I'm not trying to, it's not a jab at you, Mike, about Marion Hampton, but it's just overall, like just fantasy and dynasty, just thought process, right? Those quarterbacks hit, those are gold. Where there's running backs, you always find running backs, right? I mean, granted, if Martin Hampton finishes as a RB1, like top 10, he's gonna shoot up in there. But same thing as Cam Ward. If he finishes the top 10, those quarterbacks are just generally gonna have more value. So that's kind of my thing, right? You see the ceiling, you see his upside with his rushed upside. He seems like a really solid guy overall, right? Just wait, you're hearing him talk. He's always about football first, always trying to get better, and that's stuff that you like to see on the field. Those like things that you can't coach is what he has. Those unattaintables, and it's just really great to see him have it. I think he's be an excellent leader. I think Tennessee Titans might have the quarterback of their future there. It's just about, are they going to be able to help him out more? And I think that's gonna be the biggest thing there, right? That team's still a rebuilding process. It's still working on being built up, and you could definitely tell with the assets they have around there. Running backs have questions about him, and Tobin Pollard looks solid. Tajay Spears can't stay healthy. They have Calvin Ridley, and then after that, what do you have for receiver depth? Yeah, they got Connor Helm there. Chika Kwanko still there, but who's gonna be the number 2? Who's gonna step up? And there's a lot of things. The defense is bad, so they're gonna be playing from behind, and that's just a tough environment for rookie quarterbacks to play in. That you're just losing a lot of games. I feel like no one likes losing, especially when you're a competitive guy, and Cam Ward seems like that kind of guy. So I just hope everything goes well for him as a rookie year, and he can build up those confidence for next year.
Okay. I like it, Wiz, and I'm with you. I think they might have definitely found their quarterback. But again, I mean, I just know how the Dynasty community works. I kind of know how the football community works. Look, I mean, lots of people, if it goes not what you think it might go, like they're going to be trying to worry, maybe try to get out. Take advantage of that. I like this kid. I like his attitude. I think the team would be the main problem in that instance. I think it could only get better. And I think that you got a floor of a QB2, a solid QB2 at worst. I mean, with that rushing upside, that big arm, it could be even better. But Mike, let me just pull on your heartstrings here a little bit, because I want to see how interested you are in Cam Ward. Would you rather have Cam Ward or Michael Penix right now, and how close is that to you?
I hate that you asked me that question. I'm just giving up the farm for both. Fuck it. I'm not. I'll give up all my first for both of them. If I'm trying to win right now, it's Michael Penix, right? Because Drake London, Bijan, all those weapons. The Rams coaching tree is there. We like Callahan, obviously, but we got to see it with Ward. So I'll take Penix, but it's like 2%.
Okay. I knew that would be close. That's why I had to ask it. Wiz, where are you at on that? Is it Penix or is it Cam Ward? Now, just remember, Bob's listening, and he knows about left-handed quarterbacks.
What does he know about him?
He doesn't like him.
Is it just because it's just odd to watch him throw the football?
Yeah, he said it doesn't work.
Oh, man. This is tough, right? I'm not overly high on either. Like, I'm not in love with them, I should say, right? I do have a decent amount of shares of Penix, I have a decent amount of shares of Cam Ward. But I think in a pure value vacuum, I think the Dynasty community is higher on Cam Ward, so that's going to decide that I'm going to lean on just for pure value. I think they offer both different upsides of their own thing. Like, I think Michael Penix, he could pass for easily 4,000 yards this year. I would not be surprised if he does that. And you could also see Cam Ward, rush it for 750 yards, 700 yards this year, right? They offer both different upsides. So I don't know. I'm just going to bank on the new flashy toy, I guess.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to go with Penix too. I'm going to stick with Mike just by a hair. And it's a lot of situation based too. It ain't just about the player. Like, I just feel really good about Atlanta, just being able to, be a little bit better off in Tennessee. I mentioned that in the show not too long ago. This is close to a lot of people, I feel. And I think that's the route I'll go. Just lean on a little bit better situation right now. But you could definitely make the case for Ward with that. Like I said, that high end upside. But let's go into the next quarterback to talk about right now. And it's going to be the guy that didn't play against your Eagles, Mike, Shedeur Sanders. Look, I mean, injured. We seen Dylan Gabriel come in. You got to see that full force there at the Eagles game. I knew you were excited.
Full force.
Yeah, I knew you were excited to see
it was full of something, but it wasn't force.
I knew you were really excited. But no, I mean, look, we seen him tear it up in the first preseason game. Things, people saying it could have went this way, could have went that way, but hey, he still put up the numbers. Are you feeling any different about him right now? And look, we just talked pre-show. The Browns are approaching, getting ready to announce a starter. We're all saying it's going to be Flacco. I mean, that pretty much just makes sense. He's going to get the first crack at the can anyway. But do you think we see Shedeur starting this year? And have your opinions changed? And are you trying to get any kind of shares whatsoever in Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, it's me again? We're
Yep.
starting over with me? Okay. I mean, if I could still get him for essentially what he was drafted for in rookie drafts, I would be interested. I'm not paying a second at this point because there's still a lot in his way to become the starter. I believe he's the most talented quarterback on that roster from a talent aspect. But I do think they're going to let Flacco take the reins, like you mentioned in the beginning of the season, because that's, they're still trying to win football games at the end of the day. Because another guy who's probably coaching for his job is Stefanski. And the best chance to win right now is Joe Flacco. I was really upset Shedeur had that Ken Walker injury this week with the oblique. So I was really hoping to see what he would look like against some of these Eagles defenders that are vying for starting positions. So I still think we might see him at the end of the season, especially if the Browns are bad. But I'm not really super interested in giving up more than what he was drafted for at this point.
Okay, I tend to agree with you, Mike. I mean, I think sometimes these things can get blown out of proportion. It is preseason. We talk about that a lot. Wiz, how do you feel about this? Have you changed any of your opinions on Shedeur? And do you agree with Mike? And I think it will go bad for the Browns. I mean, just knowing them the way I do, they're really thin in a lot of positions. Quarterback's definitely one they're hurting at. We do know that it's good news as far as them getting Quinshon Judkins back. That'll help at least get this running game a little bit of pop, hopefully, but he's missed a lot of time, which is critical for a young player. But there's a lot of holes in this Browns team. Could we see Shedeur this season, Wiz?
Yeah, I think it's a realistic possibility, right? I think Joe Flacco will get the first crack at it. And then, if it's not going right, they're not winning football games. I think maybe Kenny Pickett might be the next in line to get a shot. And once everyone realizes that he needs to wear 2 gloves because his hands are too small to throw a football, they're going to be like, let's go throw in Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders in. And it's probably going to be Sanders. He definitely, right now, I mean, there's no denying it, right? He earned that spot above the depth chart ahead of Dylan Gabriel after his performance against the Eagles this past, or I guess yesterday, right? But it's just, I don't know. It's a situation I'm not buying into, right? I think I have a few that I drafted late in the 3rd round just because I was like, well, he might get a shot. Who knows, right? He seems, I don't know. We talked about him last week. My opinions have not changed of him. He's a guy that I'm just not really too interested in. I think if he does get a starting job and he's going to be a guy that hangs around the NFL for a while, he's just going to be a game manager type guy. Like, he doesn't have the crazy athleticism that to make him an athletic quarterback, right? Scrambler or anything like that. He doesn't have crazy arm strength. And I don't know. He's just like a Brock Purdy is like what his ceiling could be. And that's a big if, I feel like. So.
And you got to remember, Brock Purdy plays for Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers. Right now, Shedeur plays for the Cleveland Browns. I definitely see what you're saying as far as like if it was an equal situation. But boy, Purdy has so much more going for him coming into his rookie year than what Shedeur has.
Well, and also Purdy blossomed into what he is too, right? I mean, he probably just didn't fall into a lot of hard work and all that other stuff, right? But just everything worked out for him. Everything that he had to do to hit his ceiling in the NFL, he hit everything, right? Call it luck, call it perseverance, call it working hard, whatever it is.
49ers.
Yeah, call it the 49ers. Whatever it is, it happened to him, and that's why he is who he is now, and he's making a crap load of money. So,
okay, last thing I want to ask, I'm going to ask you the both. Since, Wiz, I have you pulled up. Mike said he wouldn't give up a second, and I absolutely agree. Would you give up a 2026 third or a pair of 2026 thirds for Shedeur right now? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Wiz says no.
I'd rather save those thirds to buy players I need down the road, right? I mean, I think I'd rather have Stephon Diggs. I feel you get him for a pair of thirds.
Okay. Going their contending route. Ty would love that. Wiz, appreciate you for that, I'm sure. But Mike, where are you at on that? Would you trade a third or a pair of thirds for Shador right now?
I mean, in reality, if you're a contender and you can get Stephon Diggs for 2/3, I don't really hate that at this point, especially with the health buzz that's been around him. If I'm a rebuilder, though, in reality, giving up 2/3 for Shador doesn't sound right, but it actually is really not that bad of a move. He's a potential starting quarterback in this league. You don't go ahead with.
Would you flip Aaron Rodgers for him 1-for-1 if you're a rebuilder, Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, for sure.
Both of those guys?
Yeah.
I think I think though I would look like, I mean, and I would, but I think I would look for the draft pick compensation. If you can't get it, then you go ahead and give me like that would be my next move. I don't mind that.
That's actually a really smart move, Wiz, for non-competing teams who have these aging quarterbacks. Because right now, I mean, the Stafford questions are pretty fucking terrifying. As somebody who's had back injuries before, it doesn't look super great. But yeah, if you could get a potential starting quarterback with 2/3, I'm not against it. I actually kind of like it. So you're really crap shooting third round picks anyway.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. And like I said, if you can't get the draft compensation, that does make a lot of sense to me. And we heard Aaron Rodgers. I mean, just from me being a Steelers fan, this is it. Like, I don't think he pulls punches. He's someone I don't think will say what he doesn't mean. I think this is the last year. So
I think the only way he'll play another year is if you guys make it all the way to like the AFC Championship, have a heartbreaking loss through like some fluke or some shit where he's like, well, if I run it back here, I might win another Super Bowl. I think that's the only way. It's like you guys have to have the best year that Mike Tomlin's had since he's won a Super Bowl.
And TJ woke up from that dream because that ain't fucking
that ain't gonna happen. No way that happens.
TJ needs to go change his pants there for that one too. He just had a wet dream there.
The only way that happens is they heavily target Roman Wilson and Jonnu Smith in the playoffs. That would be the only way, only chance. All right, but it won't happen. So trade Aaron Rodgers. Trust me, I'm a Steelers fan. I can tell you. But let's go over to the running backs, and we'll start talking about some running backs now. This was one of the best running back classes we've had in a while, boys, and it's going to be interesting to see what goes on with some of these guys. We're going to start with Wiz here because this is a Big Bob and Slim debate that goes way back, and it's a player that's with the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's going to be Ashton Jenney, Wiz. And, Slim was preaching about Jenney, how he was going to be a top 5 guy. Bob said, no chance in hell. Their offensive line's terrible. He went through the spiel, and, kind of not looking so great in the preseason, especially the first game. We've seen, 3 for -1. He picked it up a little bit there, but this offensive line isn't good.
Did you watch him yesterday?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Well, then you would have changed your intro because he absolutely balled out yesterday. I mean, I would say balled out, but he had a really good game yesterday against 49ers.
He did. Really? He did.
Really?
He looked like the film what we saw in Boise.
That's what you're hoping for, but it's kind of been up and down.
Yeah,
and, where are you at with him as far as a top 5 back, Wiz? Is he going to be that guy in the NFL? And what are you expecting this year? Because, look, Slim's over here saying it's going to be top 5. Bob's saying wouldn't shock me if it's 13, 14. I tend to lean more on Bob's side on this. But, again, we talked about this with Cam Ward. If it doesn't go well, I'm blaming the team more than I'm blaming the player a little bit, right? It's going to take time. I do think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better than what people think. I'm not saying they're going to be great. 500-ish could be in the range. As I said that, Tips in here. Missed you at the Expo too, brother. Sorry I couldn't come. Happy to see you. We're talking about your man, Ashton Jenney, with the Raiders right now. He's posting the comments. Huge Raiders fan, Tip is. But Wiz, Ashton Jenney, range of outcomes rookie season. Where's it going to be, and how much are you in on him? Are you in on him more than you were? Are you kind of just about the same? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think like how I want to phrase it, right? Because the hit rates for running backs drafted in the first round, right, to produce an RB1 season, I think it's like stupid high. I think it's like 70% or something like that, right? So I mean, I think he has every possibility to get at an RB1. It's just there's so many good running backs nowadays in the league, and the guys that come out of nowhere, right? I mean, if you're looking at the thing, right, like Bijan's going to finish as an RB1, we would think, right? And then you have Gibbs. Barkley's going to do it again. He has to, right? And then it's like Devon Achane. Is he going to slip out? Maybe. And then you have Omari and Hampton. Is he gonna finish in there? And you have Kyron. Travion Henderson, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Breece Hall. Like, you have all these guys, and you have Chris McCaffrey that had a dud year. Josh Jacobs had an amazing year last year. It's just a lot. And I haven't got down to Derrick Henry yet, the king. So it's going to be tough. And I think just because of all the talent, right? And there's still guys like Bucky Irving I didn't even mention, right? That were RB1s last year. There's so many things that have to go right for him. I don't think the offensive line's going to hold up for him. I don't think that I think the offense will do fine. It's just going to be how many times is he going to get in the end zone? I think it's the biggest thing for him. And I don't know the question. I think Pete Carroll's going to want to run the ball. I think he's going to want to have a nice system go down there. But if you're asking me where I think he's going to finish, I think 14 is where I put it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't hate you for it. I mentioned it at the beginning. And, I think a big reason why I'm kind of going to lean with you on that way, Wiz, we're going to let Mike respond. But this AFC West, it is a tough division. It's a tough cookie. I mean, you can make the case that outside of maybe like the NFC North, the NFC East is starting to pick it up a little bit. But, like, this is one of the tougher divisions in football. We talk about all these great coaches and all these different teams. What did a lot of them like to do? Run the ball, stop the run. Going to be a lot to ask Jenny and the Raiders early, but I mean, that'll show you how great he truly is. But I'm not going to say like it's going to be for sure 14. I'm saying anywhere from 10 to 14. I think it's going to be right in there. I would be shocked if it was higher than that, but Mike, we'll let you have your turn at this with Ashton Jenny. Are you any higher than you were pre-draft and post-draft there when he got drafted, seeing the mini camp, training camp, the preseason start to come full circle here?
Yeah, I'm pretty much where I was at in the first place with him. Top 5 this year. I think he's a top 5 dynasty running back ranking wise. But this year could be tough. Like kind of all the name, Wiz mentioned it. Kind of took me off my answer slightly with all the names he mentioned. That still could be in that conversation. I could see still 10 to 12 ranges, like an RB1 in general. He looked really good yesterday. That Raiders offense looks like it's taking a step forward with Geno. Geno looks confident. He looks ready to go. But Genty himself just looked like what we saw from Boise, trucking dudes, making people miss, setting up defenders behind the line of scrimmage. I'm really excited for what he could be. And this, like TJ said, this offense and this team in general could be better than what we imagine. I mean, maybe 7 or 8 games winning. This year is definitely in the realm of possibility, but they definitely are going to want to run the football with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly at the helm.
And Slim said that, I think this was back a while now. It could have changed, but when he first mentioned this as a bet, he said Raiders over 7.5. And I thought, yeah, I would take that. I would take that. I think they could get there. And I mean, it's not far-fetched as like we think, as Mike said. So, I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on it, but I do think they'll definitely be better.
I think Rich has them as a wild card team.
I know you said he was really high.
Yeah,
so
I was like, holy hell. I don't see that, but
there's a couple people that we really like and respect that, we're saying, hey, and we've all said it. Like, I would not be shocked if they're better. I'm like you. I don't say they're going to be that good, but I definitely think that they could give Kansas City a little bit of trouble. They could give the Chargers a couple fits here and there. I mean, they are definitely a team that's definitely in a better spot than they were last year. Let me just say that. But let's hop over here now into the next running back to talk about. Mike, I'm going to start with you since we started with Wiz. I saved this for you. I'm being extra nice for you today. Amarian Hampton. Look, Najee Harris. I think I think you called him Patches O'Houlihan, didn't you? Yeah, you called him Patches O'Houlihan. I mean, it ain't looking like he's going to be ready to go. What an unfortunate situation there. And, I've said it. I'm not a big fan of the player. You guys can go back and listen. I've never been preaching about Amarian Hampton, but I did say after the draft, and I know Mike will at least give me credit for this, for being nice to his player, he couldn't have found a better spot for himself. Like the way he plays, the team he's on, he can make a little bit of noise, I think, in this Chargers offense for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how this team grows. A lot of young players on this Chargers offense, Mike. But are your opinions changing any on Hampton? Are you higher? Because I know you were high. I'm not saying you're lower. I know you're sitting there thinking like, oh, you saying I'm lower now? No, I'm not. I'm saying, are you higher now, Mike, on Amarian Hampton than you were? Are you about the same? Because the Najee thing happened, not long ago. So I want to get your feelings.
Yeah, I will say I'm slightly higher because of the Najee situation. Like I thought Najee would be a part of this offense, so I was still high, but I was like, I was, trying to temper expectations because I felt like they were going to use Najee still. But the clarity around Najee is probably as clear as his vision right now because we don't really know what's going on whatsoever with that team when it comes to Najee. So for me, I'm a little bit higher than I was just because of that. And the team around him, believe it or not, like if you have been paying attention, a lot of players have been injured recently. Rashawn Slater, uh, Lambert Smith got hurt yesterday. Quentin Johnson took a huge hit. So they might be depending on Amari and Hampton a bit more than we all previously thought of. So I'm really high on Hampton. He had a couple nice runs yesterday. Hasn't been used a ton this preseason, mind you. It's only been 2 games. No, this is their 3rd game yesterday. He wasn't play. He didn't play at all week 2. So I would have liked to seen a little bit more. But again, with the amount of injuries they've had, I believe they even canceled their joint practices with the Rams because of the amount of injuries that the Chargers have had. So I still believe Omari and Hampton is another guy. I think at worst, running back 15 overall.
Okay. Wiz, how are you feeling about Amari and Hampton? Because, I felt like you were a little bit of a turncoat there early on. You joined Mike, kind of stabbed me in the back. I know you still love some of my guys, so I can't give you too hard of a time. But, do you feel any different now about Amari and Hampton in this Charger system? To Mike's credit, there are a lot of injuries. I'm hoping the offensive line doesn't really stall this offense in general this year because, we don't want to see that. We were hoping for bigger things from a fantasy perspective. But how do you feel about Amari and Hampton post Najee injury? Are you as high? Are you dropped off any? Where are you at?
Yeah, I don't like where Amari and Hampton's valued at right now.
Where
Here we go.
the thing is, like, I've heard other people, where do you want him to be? You know what I mean? Everyone was like, oh, I really hope a running back goes to the Chargers. This is all I want. And then we got one in the 1st round, and it's like, well, and then the guy they brought in gets hurt. So it's like, what do you want? Please tell me what you want. This is Burger King. Have it your way.
All right, have it my way. All right, so Amari and Hampton, right, on KTC, right? He's 29 overall. That's 1 spot ahead of Bucky, which fine, he can be ahead of Bucky, but then like looking down,
I thought you were going a different way with that.
I in Superflex, I'd rather CJ Stroud ahead of him. I'm a Ohio State guy, but I think Amari and Hampton, I think you still have to keep him above Travion Henderson because of the landing spot, right? The landing spot there.
It's a round of applause. Of applause.
Thank you. But then, like, you have Amari and Hampton, CJ. You have Bucky Irving, Tep McMillan, all ahead of guys like AJ Brown, Caleb Williams, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Love. Right? I would bump all those guys up there ahead of and probably put them just ahead of Amari and Hampton. Right? I mean, like, Greg Williams already flat out came out said that even if Najee Harris is not ready, he's gonna be running multiple backs in his backfield, right? He does not believe in a one workhorse system. So it doesn't matter. There's gonna be people brought in the rotation, right? But if you don't have great guys running there, obviously Martin Hampton's gonna get a bulk of the workload. So I don't know. It's a guy that I'm fine with drafted at 1.3 in your rookie picks, right? Like I said, I would take Cam Ward ahead of him, take Ashton Genty ahead of him. After that, Travion Henderson, Martin Hampton, you pick your poison on that one. I think Martin Hampton belongs to be 1 spot ahead just because draft capital and his landing spot. I think Chargers offense is a much better offense than the New England Patriots is. So I don't know. That's kind of the way I'm at with Amari and Hampton. I don't like where he's at in startups and kind of general value, but in rookie drafts, 1.3, I'd take him.
Okay, interesting. So let me just say this, Wiz. I was about ready to applaud you on everything you said about the quarterbacks because I mean, even players I like, I have a hard time making a case for some running backs over quarterbacks. And I think even to a degree, Mike can agree with that. To a degree, depending on who's on the board, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But let me just say this. Travion Henderson, and you guys know how my rankings were before the draft. I had Travion Henderson ahead of Murray and Hampton. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up his ass because it is preseason, but Have I been encouraged with what I've seen? Yes. And yes, the New England offense isn't as good as the Chargers offense, but the key word is yet. It's going to build. I just see him having longer dynasty life maybe than Amari Hampton. I know he's had his injuries, but like the two-way play, he could still provide you with pass catching way down the line. I've seen the Chargers do this with a couple backs. Like Ryan Matthews comes to mind. Michael Turner comes to mind. Like they have a couple good years and they move on. And then them players are never the same. So
when's the last time they really
it's like the
drafted
same
one in the
point.
first round, though?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, do they pick up that option? No, the thing is he going to be that good? I don't know that for sure.
So my thing is, right, when we're playing Dynasty, you're supposed to be playing. A lot of people know to sell running backs after their first year, after their rookie contract's over, right? So regardless, that's the same shelf life for Travion Henderson and Martin Hampton, right? And I do agree, right? If you're talking about who's going to be in the league longer, I think Travion Henderson has a better shot because pass catching, but Martin Hampton can get better at it, right? And
he had like 50 receptions in college.
I don't know, Mike.
I think
you told me
theory,
you're the one that loves them, dude. I don't have a photo of my bedside of him. I'm very impartial of Martin Hampton. I'm just saying I'm very impartial of him, dude. I've literally said this. I'm in the middle between you two. I don't hate him. I don't love him. He's just a guy I'm about.
Mike, you're pissing my dog off with that guy.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, let me finish back, right? I think of Martin Hampton, right? Like we've seen Ezekiel Elliott, right? I think that could be like a massive, like his top of the ceiling, right? Where he's really good running back for a long time, and then all of a sudden he gets fat and he dies off. He can't run anymore, right? I think that's a very realistic possibility. Where Travion Henderson, right? I don't know. TJ, you could say whoever player you want. I can't think of anything right now, but
well, it's just like it's
he's just a longevity guy because he has other assets to this thing. He's good at pass block. He's good at pass catching. And he's just an explosive guy in between the tackles, right? He's not really a bruiser. He's not going to wear down defense. He's just going to run past him. That's kind of Travion Henderson's play style. So it's the opposite of Quinshon Judkins, where and I guess Martin Hampton, you put him in there as well. They're big bruisers, elusive bruisers guys. And so that's kind of my thing.
38 receptions for Hampton. I was a little high, but still, it's still solid.
You might have 50 targets, Mike. Maybe that's what you were thinking.
Maybe.
I'll just say this. I'll go down in infamy. Mark my words. If Travion Henderson can rid himself of the injury bug that we've seen in college, and that is a big if, then he will be around longer at a higher end producer, I think.
And that's also another thing you have to talk about, right? That somebody even mentioned is that Travion Henderson cannot be a workhorse, right? We've seen him before in college. This way they bring Judkins in. Ramondre Stevenson is there, right? That's gonna be a guy that they are paid to, and they can't get out for him until I think next year is when they can have a realistic out for him. They have Antonio Gibson there. They have One-Eye Najee in the backfield, and then who else is back there?
You could also
is Isaiah Spiller still back there?
No, you put some respect on Vidal's name. Damn it!
All right, my bad, Mike. My bad.
He's not that bad. He's better than Antonio Gibson is for the Patriots.
You could also make the case, though, Wiz, that Travion Henderson's so talented and big play capable that he doesn't need as many opportunities to blow a lid off a game. I mean, he's that guy. So, I mean, I'm not saying that this is a for sure thing, but what I'm telling you is I go back to what I seen on the film. If I'm going to try to bet on someone with a huge ceiling, I love Travion Henderson. That's why I had him 3 over Amari Hampton at 4. But I did say this will help Amari Hampton have a couple years of good, solid production. But if he would, I'm telling you right now, if Amari Hampton would have went to like the Saints or the Browns or somewhere like that where Quinshon's at right now.
I was going to say timeout.
What, in jail?
He would have been in bad shape, man. Real bad shape.
Well, it's also right, TJ. We need to learn from our mistakes, right? We were talking shit on Mike for a whole year of Bucky Irving, and I listen to Mike now when it comes to running backs. That's why I'm not all the way in yet because I'm still kind of stupid. I'm kind of retarded, so I'm not falling completely into this Martin Hampton. But if he's right, if he says whatever running back's great, I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I agree with Mike. Well, that's how it's gonna be next year. I swear to God, if that happens.
I'm never going to sit here and say Mike isn't good at what he does because he is. He wouldn't be on the show if that was the case. I mean, I handpicked him. He was hand-selected. But let me just say this. Yeah, like everyone was beating down the door anyway. But I love Mike. I mean, that's not the point. I love him. He knows what he's doing. But let me just say, I mean, that's how I feel. Now, we'll see. But let's talk about Travion Henderson a little bit because you can't deny 2 really nice games here for the New England Patriots. I still think, like I said, I mean, you guys mentioned Ramondre Stevenson. I still think he's going to have a role, but I do agree with what Mike said last week. It's going to be hard to keep this guy off the field because the New England Patriots did lack big play potential last year, and he's a guy that can provide it. We know they're still struggling a little bit there in the wide receiver core. So, Wiz, okay, we'll start with you, Turncoat. How do you feel about Travion Henderson and his performance here? And what are you thinking about his overall dynasty future since you're sitting there saying, well, he's always injured?
He's like,
I'm not saying he's always injured. I was just saying there's a reason why Ohio State brought Quinshon Judkins in, right? They valued him.
He's the Italian army in World War II. He's switching. I love it.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I'm not at all. Right? This is my position I've had on Omarion Hampton, that I'm just very impartial about him. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I'm very in the middle.
That's why you went to Italy. That's exactly why.
And I had to go to my friend's wedding that so happened to be on the same weekend that Jeff Bezos got married in Italy and shut down all of Venice. But my friend's not Jeff Bezos. I wish I'd be rich probably if he was my friend. But I don't know. I mean, Travion Henderson, yes, he's definitely flashed. He's done a lot of great things, right? I saw a lot of it watching Ohio State this past year, right? National championship. OH, TJ. IO. Yeah, you get it.
No, I don't.
He said no.
But I just, yeah, I mean, we're going back. We're just going around in circles at this point, right? But yeah, everything I said before about Travion Henderson is still true to this point right now, TJ. I still like Travion Henderson a lot, right? I think he was my fourth. I think it was Genty, Judkins, Hampton, Henderson was my order I had him in. So I like him a lot. He's a really good back. For the people that were drafting RJ Harvey ahead of him, that was dumb. I'm not as big as RJ Harvey believer as most. I got Quinshon Judkins in a draft at 1-9 this past week after he was cleared of charges as charges were dropped.
Still hasn't signed a contract though.
And it doesn't matter. I got him at 1-9. I got him at 1-9, dude. I'm happy about that.
He'll sign. I've been talking to him. Go ahead, Wiz.
Yeah, I also got Cam Scadabo at 3-5 somehow. I was not paying attention. I auto drafted and I was like, oh, Cam Scadabo at 3-5. I guess that's fine. I don't know how he fell all the way down there, but I don't know. There's a lot of people now that are getting a lot of hype that's warranted and not warranted. Like Loveland went really high in this draft, right? But it's also a lot of Chicago Bears fans in there, so a little biasy right there, I guess you say. But I don't know. You guys could talk about Henderson because I went in a random tangent. So.
Oh, okay, good. I'll just kick you right off the main screen right here. But when you said league's full of Chicago Bears fans, including you, so I'm not surprised by that.
Come on.
But anyhow, let's talk about Travion Henderson a little bit because, like I said, I can't deny what we've seen. And I know it's preseason, but this guy is an explosive play waiting to happen. Sometimes you got to get it reaffirmed what you've seen on film, but I mean, we're definitely seeing it. This guy can, as quick as a hiccup, as Mike always says, he could take it the distance.
There it is. Good job, dude.
Yeah. And he could take it the distance. He is a beast as far as big play potential. And, I'm just curious to see how much you like him. Because, we could kid around about the Omarion Hampton stuff all we want and the Judkins stuff, but we all like Travion Henderson. There wasn't one person here who didn't like him. We said, this guy's a good player to get. I have a fair share of Travion Henderson in my leagues. But, Mike, I want to know right now, I want to know how high, because I'm going to ask you this first. Would you rather have at this point Travion Henderson or Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, God. Ooh. The thing with Jonathan Taylor is like we've seen him be an RB1, but it's a very inconsistent RB1, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Suspensions, injuries, like he shows up out of nowhere to save us at the end of the day. We're kind of betting on Travion to be that guy already. I think the safest pick is Jonathan Taylor, but if I'm swinging for upside, it's going to be Travion Henderson because Jonathan Taylor doesn't offer that pass catching upside. Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm going to go Travion here too. And it's a lot of what you said, injury, suspension. And we're talking
not suspension.
He never got
the contract.
The contract. Yeah, the messed up contract negotiations. You're right. But like, here's the thing too. 26 years old, Jonathan Taylor. He is a guy, like we talked about the injuries, and he did have the contract thing, but this Colts offense is atrocious. I mean, it's not good. I mean, like, we seen Anthony Richardson. I sent you that video, Wiz, as far as like they were talking about the protection and how he blew that protection, and your Ravens sacked him and hurt him. Like, this thing, you know, it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect everybody. So I just see, I know the New England offense isn't a cupcake, and it's not something you go and say, oh, I want that, but it's definitely growing. You know, it's definitely going to be something that's on the rise. That's just, like I said, eating vegetables when you want to have a cupcake, Mike. You know, sometimes, you know, you just sit there and imagine and you hope. That's what I'm doing with New England. But I just love the player. He's younger. He's more explosive than Jonathan Taylor to me. And look, how many, and Mike said it, he is a guy that produced some high-end running back one numbers, and you can't deny that. But at some point, 26 years old, in a bad offense, he signed there. Well, I mean, what kind of upside does he really super have? You know, I mean, maybe you get 1 or 2 more running back 1 years out of him where he's 8 to 12 or something like that. I mean, that I hate to say that about the guy, because he is, like, if you want to talk about a pure running back, Jonathan Taylor is one of the guys you say, yeah, that could be the best pure running back in the NFL, but there's just a lot stacked up against him. I'm going to go with the ceiling. Give me Travion. I don't know how you feel, Wiz.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys with Travion Henderson, but I mean, going with it, I mean, we've seen guys on awful offenses and the running back position produce numbers, right?
What's possible?
Yeah, like, and then you also seen guys like Josh Jacobs, right? The Raiders, when he was playing for him with Derek Carr and stuff like that, it was just a dumpster fire always going on there. And he went to Green Bay and he absolutely popped off, right? Jonathan Taylor, I think, would look great in green and yellow. You know, being a Wisconsin back, going back up to Wisconsin, I think we'd love as well. But so I the Colts are just a real awkward position, right? Shane Steichen, I think this is his last year. If the Colts don't do anything, he's gone. You know, they have Michael Pittman on that contract that, you know, he's not a young chicken anymore either. And he's 28 years old. Jonathan
That's
Taylor's
a first-round pick to TJ Blake up there, Michael Pittman.
Oh, that is, yeah. Even though you're just talking bad about him.
He'll be back. Just relax. Go ahead.
Oh, who's going to throw him the football there? Which one do you want?
He'll get out of town at some point. You know, these guys, I'm telling you, you just sit there and think. I talk about Quinshawn. We have connections. We'll get him out of Indy, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then, you know, Jonathan Taylor, you know, he's 26 and a half years old, right? And that's like nothing. I'm not saying to be an ageist, right? But that's like a team, if you're not contending, that's like you're wasting dollars with a running back that old, right? So I think he's a guy that could easily be traded if the team's not going right. And there's a lot of teams that always need running backs throughout the year, right? People get banged up, they get hurt. And I guarantee the top 15 teams in the league would raise their hands if Jonathan Taylor was out there on the market and available, right? So I definitely do like Jonathan Taylor a lot. You know, he's a really good running back, and kind of looking at where he's at. I mean, I think he's a value buy right now. He's one spot behind Chase Brown, right? If I could flip Chase Brown for him 1-for-1, I would do that. Kyron Williams is right there. You know, he just got paid, so I don't know how you guys feel about that, Kyron JT, but
JT.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it's real close for me, even though we were just trashing on Kyron, say he's gonna get replaced by Jarquez Hunter. Now it's like, oh, Kyron got paid. He's the guy, so I want him again, you know. But just I don't know, just overall, I mean, I think it's really good value to go out there and buy. But yeah, I agree. I think Travion Henderson, I think all these rookie running backs, right? If you believe in the talent, you should be out there buying them. Because if they fall in that RB1 or just perform really well in the season, they're going to shoot up in value. They're going to be unattainable, right? Like where Bucky Irving's at right now. He's RB7 overall right now at KTC. If one of these other running backs have that type of year, they're going to be up for.
You mean up top contested catch Bucky Irving last night against the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know if you saw that.
I saw Jalen McMillan's, though, where he got rocked.
Yeah, luckily he was playing against our twos. That really helped him. So that was something.
Bucky's 5'8" going up top over somebody. Stop it. Come on now.
I definitely give him a little bit of credit. He did good second string, but let me just say this. I got to give
Rashad White thought to that much.
He's Rashad's hurt right now. He's got to get healthy. But anyhow, we got to talk about the final closing remarks of Travion Henderson here. I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Wiz. Like, I think Jonathan Taylor, as far as a buy for a contender, it makes sense. You're not overpaying a super amount for a guy that can produce. But I'm saying, like, if I'm in a startup and I see these two, especially like if I want to go productive struggle, go young, I'm going Travion Henderson without even thinking about it. Even in contention, I would have a tough time because, look, I don't know. I don't think he'll be a running back one this year because we're talking about all these guys you mentioned, Derrick Henry. I mean, that's a tough nut to crack. Saquon Barkley and the Bijans and the Gibbses. And there's so many guys that I think will finish ahead. But he is someone that will be on the rise very shortly. And I'm going to predict probably 16 to 19 for Travion this year. It might not be popular, but I think just given the fact that Ramondre is still there, this offense is still growing. And hey, if someone wants to sell cheap, I'm buying because I could see a running back one finish his sophomore year fairly easy. I don't know how you feel about that, Mike. Are you on the same page with me there?
Running back 16 to 19 for Travion. It really depends on how this season starts out with Ramondre. If they do start, having a 60-40 split or whatever it is, but if anyone's going to fumble that away, it's going to be Ramondre. So it could be higher than what you're expecting, but I mean, that's a safe floor bet.
Yeah, I think that's if I was a betting person, if they say, well, give me a number, that's where I would be at right now. But you're right. This guy's explosion. It could happen real quickly. He could be higher than that. But let's go over to the next player. And, it's the guy that Wiz mentioned. And I've been saying all this time. And I'm just glad that it worked itself out. Q is RB2 for you. I love Quinshon Judkins. And, honestly, I'm just happy this thing worked itself out. He's still an idiot. He shouldn't have put himself in that situation. Hopefully he learned from it. But look, I like the player, and I'm not a big fan of the landing spot. He hasn't signed his contract, like Mike said, yet. I think they're working on getting that done. But, I just don't see this being a good season. I was willing to punt on this season for Quinshon Judkins anyway, just because knowing how badly the Browns offense is going to be. Like I said that even after they drafted him, it could be rough. This offensive line's not good. The quarterback situation's a mess. There's no other targets. I could see that. I mean, I don't care who's the running back there. I think they're going to collapse in the box. There are going to be 8-9 guys down around the line a lot against this team because I just don't think they're going to threaten teams much downfield. So I think it's going to be a rough year for Quinshon Judkins. But let me say this, Mike. I know you're not a fan of the player as much as I am.
Okay.
I mean, I know you like him, but you're not as high as I am. We flipped that with Amari Hampton and Quinshon. But let me just say, I think that some people panicked a little too much over this, and some people might have benefited because I think they're going to get a starting running back in this league this year anyway, and we'll see what happens down the line. But, I mean, I think if you were to say, you were a good team needing another running back and, it was a young guy like that available, you would give up a late 26 first if you were able to get Quinshon, would you not?
Probably. It's still really tough, though. You mentioned the non-contract sign yet. There's still a possibility he could be suspended because there is a conduct policy that they could use, is something that I read. I just don't like the fact of a rookie coming in who's first year to a bad team right now that we're just talking about, who is going to miss all of training camp, who missed all of preseason, who may or may not miss a few games, and then hope he does well next year in his rookie season. It could be bad in reality because Stefanski might get fired, right? I don't think they address the running back position again next year, but it's going to be a whole new system, a whole new way to play if Stefanski's not there. Could be a really big question mark around him. I moved him behind RJ Harvey in my rookie rankings based off this incident. I was already close in the first place, but this just put me over.
Oh, Mike, you're killing me. But I will say at least, the 26 first thing, because I've seen people acquiring him for that. And look, I'm willing to gamble on the talent. I do think there's going to be, some question marks there. And I do expect a rough year this year, but I don't know. Like I tend to think if he can get maybe 9 to 11 games, he'll be able to be okay. We'll see. It just depends on how much maybe they're wanting to suspend him and how much they're going to get him out there early or if he's going to be available early. A lot of question marks regarding that situation right now. And, this is a tough division, too. I mean, as far as stopping the run, except for Cincinnati, because they don't like to pay people on defense. And we've seen the Hendrickson thing. He wants out of there. So, I mean, the Ravens Steelers, it's always going to be tough with the run. But, Wiz, how do you feel about Quinshawn? Are you one of them people that think, okay, well, maybe for a 2026 first, you kind of might have made out on this deal if you didn't over panic?
Yeah, I mean, I already had a bunch of Quinshawn Judkins, so I didn't really go out of my way to buy. I don't think people were panic selling either, right? Especially where typically where you got him in the middle of the packs or middle of the road team. He's probably a guy that I wish I would have sent a bunch of offers out on more. So like a bunch of low ball offers, see what kind of crazy deals I could have got done. But I mean, overall, I mean, I didn't panic. I have a bunch of Quinshawn Judkins shares, right? I think last time I checked, it was at 10 or 11. And I just picked one up in the draft at 1.9, which I'm really happy about. Which, Mike, a little update on that Travis Hunter, the guy that I traded that pick to, he drafted Mecca Ibuka, and Travis Hunter went at 2.2 in a 10-man league. So,
well, that was a good strategy. Whoever's in that league knows what's going on.
It's at the 112 essentially in a 12 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's silly gooseness, man. You got to get that guy to,
Oh yeah. Well, I traded the 110 pick for a DJ Moore and a 26.
Yeah, I didn't hate that move. Move. It's fine. I think I would have taken Travis Hunter. It's risk versus reward, right? Or risk versus safety with a Mecca. Mecca being the safer player, Travis Hunter being the riskier, higher upside player.
I don't think he has that much higher of an upside though. That's like where I think where TJ and I both disagree with you, Mike, at most, is that like whatever I saw Travis Hunter, like nothing screamed out like elite prospect for wide receiver wise, right? I mean, like especially going through a class of watching Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze. Like those guys have elite things, and you also have Brian Thomas, right? Ladd McConkey. I think Ladd McConkey would have been drafted higher than Travis Hunter for wide receivers. So I don't know.
Preach. And you got to get me the details on that league. I'd love to join with them guys. They know what's going on over there. I like that. But no, okay. So Mike's, a little bit still worried about Quinshawn, and it's fair. I mean, you can't sit here and say you're doing cartwheels and somersaults over the whole ordeal, but he's a little bit lower. He dropped him in his rankings. Are you a little bit lower, Wiz? Are you about the same where you were? How close are you?
Yeah, so I didn't really start getting worried until I started thinking back about another Ohio State running back that got drafted. I think it was second or third round to a really good landing spot of the 49ers. His name was Trey Sermon. And that's when it started getting worried. Because I was thinking back to, and I was like, well, Quinshawn Judkins really fucked up. He's really good running back, but he's not going to see the field here. Dylan Sampson's getting a lot of camp buzz, but I don't see Dylan Sampson doing it. Jerome Ford's there, but we know who Jerome Ford is. But the Browns are. I'm just kind of playing some mind games in my head right now. But overall, no, I'm not worried. Like I said, I still much rather have Quinshawn Judkins ahead of RJ Harvey there, and I think that's like.
Well done.
I don't know how far you moved him down, Mike, but for me,
just in my running back rankings for rookies, just one spot right behind.
Okay, so you RJ above him, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I would still rather have Quinshawn Judkins over RJ Harvey, rather have him over Kenneth Walker. I think where you kind of stop it now is James Cook and Josh Jacobs. I think he's behind those guys.
For sure.
Oh yeah,
and probably Derrick Henry as well. I think I'd rather have the King over him just because.
You're a Ravens fan.
And a Ravens fan, yeah. But, I mean, in a rebuild, I think that's a really good move. If you could trade Derrick Henry for Quinshawn Judkins or even RJ Harvey, a guy that I'm not truly in love with, and I bet you probably get draft capital in the middle of the season when Derrick Henry's putting his numbers. So,
and I tend to agree with, if you can't get the draft capital you want in a trade back, I would take those players too, right? In return, you want to get younger. It makes sense to me, but let's go over now to Mike's guy, RJ Harvey. And we're going to start with Wiz on this one. We've been letting Mike start with all of his players. We're not going to let him keeping that train rolling right now. RJ Harvey, running back, Denver Broncos. Look, I mean, they drafted the guy, then they signed J.K. Dobbins. We're like, okay, it's nothing that scares us. I know there were some people, and I love to poke the bear there with Mike and say, oh, look, it's J.K. Dobbins. But nothing really worried me either. But I knew that was really getting under his skin. and I just love that. But look, I still think this is going to be a committee this year, and I've said it, right? And like, I'm not the super high guy on RJ Harvey. I think he can be a good, serviceable little weapon in this league. I don't think he's going to have a super, super high end upside. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to fit this offense well. I think that Sean Payton's always going to want to have a yin to a yang. I don't think he's Alvin Kamara. I know a lot of people made that comparison. I don't think he's that good, but I do like him. And I do think he's going to have a role in this offense for a decent amount of time. So, look, like Wiz said, would you maybe consider trading a Derrick Henry and a rebuild for an RJ Harvey? I don't mind that because you're getting younger. You're getting a guy that's in a good offense, and we'll see what happens. But, look, my opinions on RJ Harvey's just never changed. They've always just kind of been where they are. I was someone that, like, when he got drafted where he got drafted, I wasn't super shocked. I liked the player. I didn't love the player. I thought he was solid, but Sean Payton, hey, he has a way with these guys. Bo Nix wasn't supposed to go as high as he was, so he definitely seen something he liked. But again, this is a tough run defensive type division. We'll see how it goes the first year. They're going to run multiple backs, in my opinion, but I just think he's going to be a guy that this year, if he finished higher than 18, I would be shocked. Let me just say that this year. I would be really shocked. So, Wiz, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. What are you thinking about RJ Harvey? Are you on a similar trajectory of where I'm at, or are you somewhere different?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same trajectory as you are. Like I said, Quinshon Judkins ahead of him for me. I think I would rather take Emeka Egbuka ahead of RJ Harvey. And then I think RJ Harvey would fall after him and going just ahead of Travis Hunter and Matthew Golden for me is kind of where I would kind of fall him in the rookie draft wise, right? But it's just a player that I don't think the Broncos know how to run the football that well, right? We've seen it before, but then again, it's like what kind of talent did they have back there with Javonte Williams, Julian McLaughlin, and then whoever Aldrick Estime, a guy that I liked last year a lot, but he's a garbage can, so it sucks. He's more like a dumpster. He's a dumpster. He's not a trash can.
He's a pylon.
Oh no, he's a dumpster, dude. He's bigger than a trash can, but same purpose. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that how valuable is the Denver Broncos running back going to be this year? And I think it's gonna be a lot of split carries between him and J.K. Dobbins, and they have different things they bring to the table, right? I think J.K. Dobbins is just a real smart runner, right? And if he got healthy and didn't run with that limp leg that he was running last year with, I think he would be. I think he still has a lot in his career available to him. I don't know. I love J.K. Dobbins a lot. Everyone knows that. But RJ Harvey's the new explosive back, real good pass catcher out of the backfield. I don't remember his pass pro, but I think he's pretty bad at pass pro. Mike, you might be able to chime in on that one. But it's just like you have like that, so is he can get third down workload? No, is he can be more like I think he's gonna have a lot more design plays to get him in open space to be able to turn up the field, and that's great to see. It's just I think he's gonna finish as an RB2, right? Like around 22, I think is what I put it there, which is not bad where you get him in the back of the first round if that's where you draft him. I'm just drafted, like, just have that expectation that you're not expecting an RB1 season, because I don't know if you'll get there or not. That's my biggest thing, Mike. So,
yeah, Mike, the floor is yours. RJ Harvey, I know this is a player you really like. Let's talk about it.
You think you don't think he ever gets an RB1 spot, or just this year?
Well,
this year is what I would say.
Yeah. Right, I mean, I could see the argument where, because they're going to trot out J.K. Dobbins, they're going to probably throw the ball a bit more with Evan Ingram, and Pat Bryant seems to be emerging as well. But
I think that helps him though, like to get the pass catcher. Like I said, like if you get out like on screens and more, I wouldn't say, I don't like using the word gadgety because people assume that it's like, oh, you're talking about best ball guy. Like I don't mean necessarily that, but just having plays designed for him out there to get him open space. I think that's going to help him a lot, and I think that's what the Broncos need to do. So
I think 15 through 18 in PPR could be possible because of the explosive plays. We just talked about Travion Henderson being an explosive player. RJ Harvey is also super explosive. We've seen all the athletic metrics. We saw it all over his film, breaking off big runs. Wiz was saying that they're not the best running football team. Going back to last year, they are one of the best run protecting offensive lines in football going back to last year, based off PFF's metrics. So it does help that they have a very impressive offensive line. I do think I agree with you, Wiz, where you said the pass protection is going to be a little questionable, especially because of the size. But he is a really good pass catcher. We saw it last night and the night before, the week before. Decent hands, just an explosive runner all over the field. I think I see a higher upside than you guys because of the big play threat from an RJ Harvey. It remains to be seen what we see right away. Could we see like a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara year one type thing from Sean Payton this year, possibly? But again, if you start getting those home run plays and he starts running between the tackles, well, might be hard to keep RJ Harvey off the field as well.
Yeah, and let me just say this, and I've said this about a lot of players, but honestly, I think that if it's me, if he has a bad season, I don't mind getting him if someone wants to offload him. That's the thing. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Wiz, I see you have some breaking news there.
Oh yeah, I just got a sleeper notification, right? Brian Robinson Jr. is getting shopped around for the Commanders. So that's opening the backfield up for Austin Eckler.
I knew you were gonna fucking
and
say
also
Mr. Crockett.
Yeah, how do you say his name? I don't want to fuck it up.
Corey Krosky Merritt, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Krosky Merritt. Yeah. So I mean, these guys been getting a lot of camp buzz. So
JC
about rookie running backs.
Yep, definitely could fit the profile. But let me just say in closing, like I said, RJ Harvey, if he doesn't come out and set the world on fire, and I think Mike Shanuti said this on From Whistle to Whistle, like, don't burn down your share. Like, there's so many people that does that. It's unbelievable. And I will say this, we're going to cut it off here with RJ Harvey, but I would take RJ Harvey over Caleb Johnson 12 times out of 10. Let me just say that, because like, I know that's kind of close in some people's eyes. It isn't to mine. Like, I don't think it's close at all. And I'm a Steelers fan. I can tell you, I'm not saying you got a terrible, terrible player in Caleb Johnson. I just think at best you're hoping for a running back too. There isn't really any more hope higher than that to me. I just don't see it with this team and his running style. But this was a great episode, fellas. Appreciate to get your thoughts on these rookie players here right before the season starts. We're going to be doing the receivers and also the tight ends next week. And then we're going to be talking, hopefully doing the Dynasty DNA kickoff show that last weekend in August, right before September. We're going to shoot for that. Keep you guys posted. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got all kinds of great stuff to discuss with these guys before the season and all that stuff. So we got to tune in for that. It's going to be a blast. Get to see Wiz and, Big Bob battle a little over Bears culture. Get to see Mike tear into some people. I know he's got some quarrels with some other members here on the network. He can't wait to dive.
All you fucking Roma Dunze haters in this DNA Dynasty DNA network we got going on here.
Oh, I think
we'll get him, Mike. We'll tag team him, buddy.
I think there's going to be a Mike and Mike battle, Mike Shanuti versus Mike Dynasty Dog Mike, because, we know Mike's a big Roma Dunze guy. He's going to be going after him, so it's going to be fun to watch. But if you guys are enjoying the content and you're listening on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, any of the big podcasting platforms, and you haven't yet, please follow and 5-star the show. It really helps, and we really appreciate it. Check out Dynasty DNA on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Also, check out Mike's podcast, The Dynasty Dogs, available on Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube. Go over there and do it. You won't be sorry. It's always nice hearing from him and what Rich has to say as well. But this is going to do it for this episode of the Triple Threat Podcast, and we will see you guys next week.